and original point of view, me and Steve have both read The Hunger Games. We're big fans of them. I substitute teach, and like every time I go in to teach, we've been teaching this book. So it's been really eerie for me.
Really?
Yeah. So I have probably read it at least one more time, like but in different parts and pieces, and like I've had to read it to kids, had to watch kids like act it out, had to watch kids like draw stuff. So it's extremely popular in middle school. And
really?
Yeah. Before I went to go see this,
Right.
I literally the last class of the day, we finished the last chapter of the book, and there was like 15 minutes left. And the kids were like in like practically like open rebellion. They're like, "Let's go see the movie!" And I was like on the edge of my seat, like I was about to like, "Yeah, let's do it, yeah."
And you did.
Yeah. There's like she just fucked the system, and but I want to keep my job.
Yeah. At least buy the system dinner first.
Yeah. I mean that would have been a really cool story if I just ran out with tons of 8th graders like, "We're going to see a movie."
Impromptu field trip.
Yeah.
Carrying on
I
your
can't fit you
shoulders.
all in my car. Yeah.
Safely.
Yeah. Hold on. Kids were wearing Hunger Games, so this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This movie, I mean, it's selling out like crazy. But we're gonna turn to Kevin,
Finally. Okay.
who also has young girls.
Right.
Kevin, how did you feel about this movie? Watching children the same age as yours kill each other, or just how did you feel about the movie in general? Yeah. Oh, come on! Really?
Hold on.
Yeah, cut!
I did that on purpose, man. No, okay.
Send Steve a text.
Damn it!
The podcast that never ended.
Kevin, how'd you feel about the movie?
I was excited. But anyway, going back to the movie, it was a very emotional movie for me. Some happy, some sad, some very angry. To assume that in 100 years we're going to emotionally and intellectually devolve to allow children to kill each other and be okay with that, I hated that. I hated seeing that.
Did you find it you couldn't buy into that would actually happen, or that it just bothered you to think that that's a possibility? You know what I mean?
It didn't bother me to think that it's a possibility because I don't think that'll ever happen to this level. Extreme. I really don't. I think the anger aside, with just the ideas that this brings to the forefront, I think it was a great movie. Mm-hmm. There were some ups and downs, or not ups and downs. I think maybe a better way to say some good points and some flaws. As I'm watching this, I thought somebody ripped off the Running Man in the Truman Show. It's
kind of a combination too.
Yeah, I mean, for some key points to it, yes. Yeah. not the whole storyline, but certain key points. I'm looking at this going, well, yeah, they did that in the Truman Show. Oh yeah, they did that, and it's just like the Running Man. And that bothered me a little bit. I don't know if it's exactly like that in the book, but I was telling myself, well, you know what? Not everybody that's going to see the movie has read the books. Yeah. So you can't assume certain things.
Yeah, but not everyone's going to see the movie, seen the Truman Show either. So.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, how did you feel about it? Because you also haven't read the books.
I was mainly going to the arena section. I was surprised at how natural it looked while it was still artificial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I didn't recognize that it was so fake until when they were running from the dog at the end. And they're just like, oh, here, pop 2 more out of the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? How did this happen?
I was actually curious, and I want to ask you guys, in the book, did they tell you how that happens? Because that was the
dogs?
one part,
They cut stuff out about those dogs, which is smart. A lot.
Yeah.
Those dogs are, in the book, they take the dead tributes and have genetically engineered the tributes into those dogs.
Yeah.
Which sound like use their genetic material, which sounds really weird, but so they obviously didn't do that.
I mean, you can tell they're genetically altered just from the way you see them. But how did they pop out of the eyes?
They actually take the eyes out of the dead tributes and put them in the dogs. So it's the eyes.
The book's a lot more disturbing than the movie.
So there's one scene where Katniss is basically the dog that is Rue is trying to kill her, and she can see Rue's eyes in the dog.
Wow.
Now, there's no way they could have done that on screen effectively, so they took it out.
They would have had some lame line where it's like, the dogs are the other tributes!
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, there's some pretty horrific things in the book that they can't transfer to screen. I thought that the choices that were made by Gary Ross, right?
Gary Ross. And Susan Collins, they wrote it together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she had writing credit for this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they made excellent choices as far as what to put on screen and what not to put on screen. The violence was toned down, but played. Well, I wouldn't even say it was toned down. It was played more for emotional rather than gore or horrific.
It's not really glorified. It's very quick. It's very fast.
Right.
He doesn't rest on it. It's horrifying. You don't have time to really be entertained by it.
Right, going into that first scene where they're coming up in near the cornucopia in the arena there, I'm thinking to myself, half the kids are going to die just like that. And I was curious.
Really, half of them died.
Yeah. I was like, no, it was 12. And you watch her count. She's like, and she's hearing the booms and she's counting. But I was...
What was that? When they're counting down, that was an actual 40 seconds. And they make you count that 40 seconds. And then they stop the counting. They just... show them, and they just show them like the kid in the field, and like I kept counting. I was like, 19, 18, and they did it, and then it got back to the right time. That was impressive.
They did a great job, like you said, though. Of when all that is going on, I mean, they didn't focus on this one got his head cut off, this one got skewered. It was just an overall. There's a massive amount of chaos.
Yeah, and the way it was filmed. Actually, the cinematography for this was amazing because it was. The camera was so chaotic when it needed to be. Right. It's kind of all over the place, and there was I literally think there was some shots where he just like dropped the camera and let it fall. It was just so all over the place, but it was when it needed to be.
I remember when I was reading when Batman Begins came out, they did the same thing like during the fighting scenes in that movie, where it was like, oh look, he's over there, boom, and then oh he's over there, so the camera's like freaking out because. That's like basically how the people who are getting the crap beaten out of them are feeling, because they're just like, oh, whoa,
what's going on? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And even with the drug scene with the crazy wasps, whatever the hell they're called, Tracker Jacks.
Oh yeah,
that was cool.
Where she's freaking out, and then the camera's like, if the first time it freaked out, I thought like, wait, is this a bad like film or something? Did we get a bad?
Hello,
wait, these are digital projectors. And I realized that it was like supposed to be doing that. So I thought cinematography was very good. I thought the music was very good. Perfect with like quiet when it needed to be, loud when it needed to be. Gone when it needed to be.
When it needed to be,
The Hunger Games or Citizen Kane?
This discussion needs to happen.
I've never seen Citizen Kane.
Neither have I.
If I had, I'd still pick The Hunger Games. That's just too old. I don't care if it's an important movie. I'm sorry, there comes in a point, to me, at least.
Tom is going to come back to Binghamton just to kick your ass. Sorry, Tom. Just for saying it's just too old. Like
the
that criteria alone.
Greatest movie ever made.
But I haven't seen it, so you can't take my hating Citizen Kane for not seeing it into consideration.
I knew this was going to come up. I just didn't know when.
Yeah, it's easy.
The Hunger Games. Hunger Games. So easy.
I enjoy it so much more.
Mm-hmm. When Citizen
now, this
Kane
isn't a
wins
Black Hawk Down.
No.
That was more. That was kind of like Black Hawk Down. Tom freaked out, and that sort of pushed us over. Like, hey, we can push his buttons. So that's what that was about. But this actually,
I also genuinely think Black Hawk Down is a better movie.
It's a more enjoyable movie.
It is more enjoyable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think Hunger Games is.
Citizen Kane is boring as hell. It's really, really boring. And I like boring movies. Okay, I'll sit there and watch like Tree of Life and be interested. Like,
God.
You go from that to piling up dead bodies.
Father,
I don't know. It was
Mother.
I'm gonna whisper really loud.
Citizen Kane wins when it comes up against other important movies in history. It's like, well, Citizen Kane's more important than that. It doesn't win when it comes up against a movie that's fun and I enjoy.
And that's good.
Because
there are movies that are fun and that I enjoy that are not very good.
They're not very good,
So
it wouldn't win against John Carter.
Citizen Kane?
No.
Because John Carter shouldn't get that high.
Yeah.
So...
Why don't we, just to keep it a little fresher, you can cut there. That's why I did that. Why don't we turn to, like, Brian or Kevin?
Okay.
So that way we can keep it a little bit different.
Okay, alright. Uncut.
You doing the hand job?
I'm just going to leave that in. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it. Cutting. How do you cut like this? I want you to go inside and cut something like this. Like, put it between your hands. I'm cutting the bread. That doesn't work. I'm cutting. Man, cut. Yeah. Right. Cut. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. You're... Whatever. Yeah. Lenny...
They're not the same story. Wow.
Stop taking my water over. But yeah, no, Atlantis, I really like that.
Oh, wait.
Don't want to get his daughter's book.
There you go. No.